So you've reached the end of this video course, and this is going to be video number 9, and I'm going to talk about custom mascot creation. Mascots can oftentimes help your brand because you can do a lot with mascots. You can appeal to certain senses by providing a mascot, and we'll dive into that right now. So getting the right mascot created is very, very important because the mascot essentially is your brand identity, who you identify with. Now, this works really well for business brands. Personal brands, on the other hand, they don't work really well unless the mascot looks like you. Now, you have to be very careful about choosing your mascot and the design of your mascot because you don't really want people to look at your brand as something that is cartoony or too cheesy or too unprofessional. So let's go to peopleperhour.com, for example. And if we type in mascot here, we can see different types of mascots. Now, right off the bat, you can actually tell the quality. Like, these look really cartoony, and we don't really want that. What we want is something like this. These look cartoony, cartoony. Now, I'm going to show you in just a minute one specific site that I would highly recommend, and in my opinion, has one of the best mascots ever. So as you can see here, this person here is designing a vector mascot for you. Now, what vector means is it just is a technical term for saying that you can increase the size of an image without it ever losing resolution. So let's say, for example, that you look at the billboards that you drive by while you're driving, and if you were to shrink that down, then the resolution would still be there and the image would still be okay, clarity wise. Now, if you took a little small image, like let's say, for example, a photo that you take with your camera and then you try to blow it up to that size of a billboard, it's going to lose resolution. So a vector makes it so that you can blow it up to the size of a billboard and never lose resolution. So that's really what that means. So you're going to see that word thrown around a lot. Now, as you can see, this is quite professional. There are other sites out there like royalty-free stock image sites, and if you go here and you type in mascots, you're going to notice that the mascots are not as good as what we may want. And some of these look cartoony and may not be exactly what we want. Now, if you go through, you might be able to find some mascots that are really good. Now, I would say the best site to find mascots is graphicriver.net again, and the cheapest as well. If you go here, you go to graphicriver.net and you type in mascots, you're going to see about 9,000 different templates and designs that fit the word mascot. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the best sites out there. Of course, you got to move around and you got to pick and choose because you'll notice that some of these mascots are a-okay, they're not as good, but then some of them are phenomenal. And some of these you can actually change up. So, for example, let's say that we decide to choose this gorilla mascot. Now, as you can see here, you have 15 different poses all in one pack. Now, that's nice to have because if you do have a mascot that is based on that identity that you've created with your brand company, then what happens is you can use these different poses throughout different areas. So for example, if you had a special offer, you could have this guy here. If you had him saying, wait a minute, before you go, do this and that. So having different poses is definitely beneficial to you. So that's, in my opinion, one of the best, and we've used graphicriver.net for many, many years, and we've searched many different royalty-free sites, and I'm sure there are really good ones out there, but graphicriver.net, you're pretty much guaranteed that the license and the person who designed it is legit, because they have a very, very strict guidelines as far as approving graphic artists. So you go here, you want to pick and find a mascot that fits your brand and your brand identity. So when somebody sees that mascot, they see themselves essentially, or they see who they want to possibly be. Now, having a cartoon as a mascot is a big plus, because cartoons, generally speaking, are not really salesy. They tend to take our guard down, and it brings us back to psychologically our childhood mode. And having mascot can actually help increase your sales. So that's how to go about finding a mascot for your product and service and brand.